What's up, everyone? I'm Matt Martin with The Grass Factor, and this is probably one of the most important videos I've ever put out. I mean that. You should watch it from beginning to end. The lawn care industry is facing some very critical times. The person I interview is one of the leading frontline proponents and advocates for the lawn care industry. I ask you, please watch this interview and stay to the end of the video where I give you some ideas of how we can protect what we do as business owners, as enthusiasts, and members of the green industry. Please watch until the end. So just tell me who you are.
I'm Eric Wenger with Complete Lawn Care.
And what have you been doing since 2015, or really before?
Well, aside from running my business and keep my clients happy, I've been fighting pesticide ban bill in Montgomery County, Maryland.
Give us a brief rundown of what the pesticide bill is.
Matt, the pesticide bill basically bans the use of lawn care pesticides on lawns in Montgomery County, Maryland. Okay, but it does not ban the sale or purchase of those things. But it is targeted at the lawn care industry, and they know that if they can affect the lawn care industry to where we can't perform our job, to where our clients consider it a good value, then that will probably be the end of the lawn care industry.
Okay, so can you talk a little bit about where they come from a scientific perspective, what they're trying to come at you with? Is it scientific? Are they coming at you with a scientific argument, or is it going to be emotionally driven? Where do they stand versus where you representing the industry would stand?
So when you say they, you mean the people that are the anti-lawn, anti-pesticide people, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're coming at it from a very emotional point of view. They are very worried. They're very afraid that the environment is being destroyed and that their children aren't safe because of the applications that are made to lawns. That's basically where they're coming from. Their science is based on things that don't relate directly to lawn care. And so a lot of the data they use would be if you were to consume a pesticide directly. Or a lot of their statistics are from agriculture, and it does not relate to lawn care, professional lawn care. So it's they're coming from a very emotional and a place of perception of danger and real threat to their life. And that's very effective. You know, if I say to you somebody is going to cause cancer by doing something, as a legislator, if I'm an elected official, I'm going to look at that. You know, and if I don't know anything except what one person tells me or 5 people tell me, then that's probably what I'm going to believe, because they're like very convincing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's important to understand that it isn't coming from a science-based background. It's coming from a very perceived and emotional background.
So do you present the problem with science? Is that an effective tool to mitigate the kind of pressure?
Unfortunately, it's not as effective as you might hope. People don't think logically. Perception is reality, and if you don't believe that, you need to do a little more research. And so if you're going to have a situation in which you're going to try to fight back and you're going to use science, you're probably going to have a lot of people snoozing on you. They don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
They really want to know, are you or aren't you causing harm? That's what they want to know.
So as applicators, even homeowners, applicators and homeowners, there has to be some sort of solution curve here. What does the solution curve look like? Where do you start? Where do we progress? How do we get more involved? And how do we protect what we have?
Well, the way we protect what we have is by being professional and constantly learning and updating our techniques and evolving. I like to say that the lawn care industry has evolved over the last 50, 60 years, and it continues to evolve. And so that's the only real way to affect a change, is to continue to evolve. And that means better use, better understanding of pesticides and how they're used, and indeed better chemistry, which is being created. Safer, better, more effective, more targeted. If we undermine all of that and we take away the industry, there won't be any need for anyone to invest in that new technology and new techniques. And so we will be back to the old days and essentially, continuing to be less effective. Evolution is required in both our thinking and the way we act. And the way to do that is to talk to your legislators, talk to your local county governments, local governments, let them know that's what you're doing, and then talk to your suppliers, your distributors, the people who manufacture, and let them know these are the things we're looking for. Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty big industry when you put it all together, and I think it does warrant a good look. There's been an awful lot of people that have made a successful career in this industry, and I'd like to see that continue into the next century.
One of the, I was talking to you about it yesterday. One of the things I said is that without this industry, I have nothing. It gave me my house, my family, provide for my family. Yeah. I got married working in this industry. It's all I have. So it's very refreshing to meet somebody who's is in the same vein and gut punching ability. Yeah. So really excited about that. But you mentioned getting to know your legislators, and I heard you in your talk. You were saying not just get to know your legislators, make sure they know your name as well. Do you think, even say you're not a super scientific nutcase like I am that just dives into the nitty-gritty of the chemistry, is it still important that even if you don't have that level of understanding, that you go meet those legislators and you go defend your industry and make them know who you are to them?
Yeah, of course. And the fact is that if you aren't real comfortable talking about the chemistry or the science behind it, but you understand what you do, then that's what you should talk about, and don't talk about the science. But you can also affect an emotional response, because as a real human being, as a real person, you can talk. You can have pictures of your kids and your dog. You can show pictures of you fishing or whatever. You can go to these outreach. All of the local politicians, all of them have public outreach, okay? They have different meetings and groups in the community. You need to attend those things. You need to say, hi, my name is this. This is what I do. I really appreciate the things you're doing as a legislator, okay? And you know what? My company, I'm hoping to grow it. And I'm worried about a couple things, and I hope you understand, that I'm part of the community too. Here's my dog. My dog loves to play out in the lawn. I play in the lawn with him. Here's my wife. Here's my kids. My name's Fred. Whatever the case may be, you need to make that personal connection. So the next time they see you, they go, oh, there's Fred. Hey, I know him. He's a nice guy. Then when someone comes and says, hey, Fred does bad things, you say, wait a minute. I kind of know Fred. And you maybe have a different conversation. Maybe you get a call from the legislator, say, hey, we need to have a conversation. You get a chance maybe to bring someone like Matt Martin in who can say, hey, I know about the science. And we can have a real conversation. And this person then might say, as a legislator, wow, that's really important information to learn.
Okay, so what about like the DIY guys who, that's their outlet, is working in their yard. They may be IT professionals, engineers by day, and they come home and that's their outlet to have a hobby outside to do that. Would it even be important for them to get involved on this front?
Well, of course, if they want to protect their personal property rights and be able to do things on their property that are deemed legal, then they're going to have to defend those things as well, because they can be made illegal very, very easily. And for the DIY market, I've met hundreds of thousands of people probably over the past 40 years, and I've met some people that do it themselves that really know what they're doing. I mean, they're kind of interesting to talk to, but most of them are not quite so adept, and they're just sort of muddling along. And anybody who wants to do this should be able to. But I think it'd be real important that they be able to learn how to do it properly, and there should be outlets. And this is one of the things I'd like to develop, where we can get these sort of training seminars, opportunities for people who are interested in doing it right and protecting the environment to get that learning and to have that opportunity. That doesn't exist right now. It's basically you're either a pro and you're going to training, or you're a homeowner and you're Googling it, and that's not a good way to do it. It's really not. Google's full of information, but if you don't know what to do with it, it doesn't do you a lot of good. Yeah.
In the short term, what's something we can immediately do to help you?
Well, just the fact that you're talking to me helps me. We're going to continue the fight. My understanding of the way government works is that it changes. There are elections, and elections have outcomes. And right now in Montgomery County, the elections have been the same over and over again, and the same people are in power. And I'm hoping that in the future that maybe we can get some changeover in some of that legislature and some of our local governments to where we can start amending and changing some of these laws. The one thing I would like to say is, regarding Bill 5214, which you asked me about, Matt, is that it's bad legislation. It's terrible. It is not good. In fact, the creator of it said in public, I know it's bad legislation, but we had to do something. And I just think that's politics at its worst. We have to do something even if it's bad? No, we don't. We can create something good, and I would love to be part of the group that promotes doing something good, okay? Let's fix the legislation. Let's make it make sense. Let's make it enforceable. Let's make it so that people understand it. Let's make it so it isn't confusing. Let's make it so that people can do what they need to do and do it safely.
Yes.
These are all possibilities. It isn't we had to do something, let's do it badly.
Yes.
No, we had to do something, let's make sure we do it right. And so that, I think, is the way you can help, is by getting involved with your local legislators, with people who are interested in seeing things done correctly and having it be better for everybody, as opposed to just making bad legislation just because we had to do something.
Yeah. Do you have social media or Facebook or something where you give kind of updates on where you are and different events that may be occurring that people can show support or show up and be at?
Man, I'd like to be more like you, Matt. I wish I had more social media presence, but I don't.
Maybe we can help you get started doing that.
And maybe that would be exactly the place you can help me, is to create something like that so that that can happen.
Okay. We'll work on that.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
I hope everyone caught the seriousness and the brevity of that conversation. Eric Wegner is a hero to our industry. I ask each and every one of you, whether you're an enthusiast, a professional lawn care applicator, sports turf, golf, whatever the case may be, use one of the skill sets, something you can offer to help benefit Eric in his campaign. Because what you see happening there is something that can be looked at and replicated easily across the country. The industry, whether we like it or not, is truly under attack. And it's up to us to be the stewards of not only the environment, but also the stewards of the industry. I have a series of links in the description below. Visit each and every one of those. Get in contact with Eric. Let's strategize and figure out a way that we can assist him and also offer our own assistance to protect this industry. Thank you.